Good morning, this is Joe Hoskin for SVG Europe. I'm here at Lord's Cricket Ground in London with Will Pitt, the head of sport for Imagen. We're going to be talking about the need for sports club to manage their content better. Good morning, Will.
Good morning. Lovely to be here.
So are sports clubs managing their content well at the moment? What's your opinion about how they're doing it, and what are the key issues that are facing them?
If you think about it, Joe, clubs are really trying to do two things in any engagement strategy. One of those is to maintain the engagement of their existing fan base, and the other is to attract new fans. And the best way they can do that really is by feeding them engaging content. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of ways to engage with fans, old and new, of course, but really the dissemination in a managed way of interesting content is one of the best ways.
And how can well-managed content libraries, new and archive content, help those sports clubs to increase their brand awareness and to relate better with fans? What have you found in some of the projects you've worked on?
Well, if you think about it, the clubs are in a unique position. They're in a unique position because they have unrivaled access to players, to the coaching staff, to the training ground. In other words, they get to see behind the curtain. That's really interesting if you're a fan of a team or a sport. That's sort of where your interest can deepen. So the carefully managed processing and delivery of that content is the key to it. To answer the question specifically, some clubs do it brilliantly, and some clubs have got some work to do there. It's a mixed bag, I would say. And
would you say that all clubs or most clubs are now aware of the importance of this? Or is it still, say, for some of them, they're very aware, or are you having to persuade people that there's something in it for them if they get engaged?
Yeah, it's more the latter, actually. And you would be forgiven for, if you come to a tech conference like this, you would be forgiven for assuming that everybody knows about everything. But that's not the case. And we are often surprised at the lack of knowledge of what is available to those clubs to create that engagement.
And is that across all sports, or football, or
yes,
sports?
I would say it's all sports, and actually football is probably one of the more sophisticated ones because there is such pressures on football clubs to monetize and create brand awareness. There's more demand in the market for soccer content, if you like, football content. But that said, the opportunity is there for all sports to create great engagement with their fans because of the web. So they don't need a TV channel, a linear TV channel to create that engagement. There's no high barrier to entry there. They can just use the web.
And who typically, if you're working with a club, who typically is your contact person within it? Does it vary from club to club?
It varies a bit. Often we will end up with a head of operations who is responsible for the processing of content through various workflows and out to the market. What we're seeing increasingly actually is that the direction is coming from the top. So a lot of CEOs, COOs are saying we should be doing this more. So how do we do it?
And what advice would you give a club, whether they're a customer of yours or not, but what should they be doing as a kind of, if you were going to say at a base level, what should they be doing to prepare themselves for, to put themselves in a position so they can monetize content?
The good news is that there's lots of products out there on the market for them to explore. Okay, and Imagen is one of the best content management products out there. I would say that, wouldn't I? But it's true. And my advice to clubs would be commit. So commit a budget to the orderly or the management of your content so that you can get it out to the market in a managed way. And then also commit time. So commit to a timetable that will enable your people, your teams, to be able to meet deadlines, show things when the market really demands them. And we're not just talking, the first team always gets a lot of attention because they're the ones that the cameras are on most of the time. But there's loads of stuff that the fans are interested in, the youth teams, the reserves, and so on and so forth. As I say, it's the behind the curtain stuff that the fans really love, and that is within the gift of the clubs to show, because it's their content.
And assuming they make that investment and commitment, is it a relatively then straightforward task for them to kind of stay on top of it all?
With the right management tool, yes, it is.
Right.
So if you've got a system that enables you to have that control, then yes, it really is. Yeah, that's the good news, is that the technology is there now to enable those clubs to achieve those goals.
Okay. Will, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you.